Several years ago, I coined the term vagus insufficiency syndrome. And this was based on an observation that people could have diseases that are co-linked. So for example, my original observation was with migraines. People with migraines may also experience gastrointestinal problems. They may also experience anxiety and depression. And we did a series of studies and statistical analysis to show that migraines don't cause anxiety, as one might think, or anxiety doesn't cause migraines, as one thinks. Statistically, there was a latent causation. Something was causing all of these different sets of symptoms to occur together. And I coined that term vagus insufficiency because A, they were all linked directly to the vagus, and B, the symptoms seem to get better when one stimulates the vagus nerve. And I suspect there are a number of ways in which your vagus nerve could be damaged. The polyvagal theory has been very preeminent in understanding the top-down approach of threat causing a damage to the vagus in some ways. But there are also traumatic injuries that could occur. So think about automobile injuries, and sometimes there are sports injuries that can damage either the brainstem or the vagus nerve itself. And people present with these very strange constellation of symptoms that just don't make sense unless you stop to think of it this way. So the vagus insufficiency can present in a lot of different ways. And another one that recently has been come up is long COVID. Long COVID is probably a variety of different problems, but in one study, 70% of patients with long COVID have had a damage or presumed damage to their vagus nerve. And they're presenting with pulmonary problems, their anxiety, fatigue, depression, gastrointestinal disorders, all of these things that are linked to the vagus nerve. And in fact, there are a few studies now showing that stimulation of the vagus nerve, either in an auricular branch or in the cervical branch, can help with the symptoms across a variety of domains. So I suspect vagus insufficiency, as I've defined it, is going to turn out to be a major grouping of disorders that we just haven't really recognized because we haven't been thinking about it. In society, we tend to be splitters, meaning we send a patient who's got anxiety and depression and pulmonary problems to 3 separate doctors. The pulmonologist doesn't really know about the vagus, the psychiatrist doesn't really know about the vagus, and nobody's stopping to say, isn't this interesting that you have these very strange set of symptoms that are always co-linked together? And I suspect that we're going to determine that the vagus is involved in a significant percentage of these.